What would you have me do? Just after I said, Stephanie, would you like some more Cabernet? Should I have said, excuse me, I have to call my mommy?
Family Ties became one of the biggest sitcoms of the 1980s.
Something romantic.
She's my sister.
But the character who came to define it was never supposed to lead the show.
Love is nature's way of giving a reason to be living.
Kiss me, Dad.
The writers built him as a joke, the network president wanted the actor gone, and the creator had built the entire series around two other people.
Got it! Okay, the rest of you watch me! Okay, kitten, hands! Okay! Alright, Betty, bye!
Somehow, the character nobody was betting on took over everything, and once America chose him, the show could never go back. So how did Family Ties create the wrong hero? The show everyone remembers never existed. Picture the Family Ties you remember. Alex in a shirt and tie at the breakfast table, quoting the stock market, driving his hippie parents crazy.
So Matthew was the first one to read for Family Ties, a part of Alex, and I said what any normal, I said, yes, get him a pen, you know, let's make a deal.
That show is real, it just isn't the show that was made, because the series that aired in 1982 was about the two people you probably forgot were even the leads, Steven and Elyse Keaton, former flower children who marched on Washington and believed the 60s had changed the world. Watch the original opening credits and you can see the proof, a long montage of the parents, young and idealistic.
Supervise. Yeah, go on up there, Mom. There's a load up there for you, too.
The kids get a few seconds at the end. The show was theirs. The title was about them.
Yeah, I think that's a very big part of it, because you don't get this kind of performance and this kind of commitment, and you don't get these people to stay if you can't make it a real pleasant place to be.
So how did a show about two ex-hippies end up remembered as a show about a young Republican? That's the mystery, and the first clue is that the man who created it didn't want Alex to matter at all. The show Gary David Goldberg actually created. Gary David Goldberg was an ex-hippie himself, long hair, a dog named Ubu, 3 earlier shows that all got canceled within weeks.
And so we went out and got a set from a motel that was going out of business in San Diego, brought it home, we plugged it in, and it was Get Christy Love.
Family Ties was going to be his last try, and he built it out of his own life. He said it flat out. The show was totally autobiographical in concept. He and his wife were the parents. The whole idea was watching two former radicals raise a family in a country that had moved on without them. So the show wasn't about politics. Not really. Politics was just the experiment. Take two people who believed in changing the world.
Well, how do I look?
Middle-aged.
Give them kids who grew up in the age of money, and watch what happens at the dinner table. Alex was designed to be the joke in that experiment, the kid who somehow came out conservative. The writers hung photos of Richard Nixon and William F. Buckley on his bedroom wall, not out of admiration, but because it was supposed to be absurd. His greed and his hero worship were written to make you laugh at him. He was a supporting character, a device, a way to needle the parents. But then someone unexpected walked into the audition room, and nothing went to plan. NBC wanted the kid gone. Here's a fact that should stop you cold. The most famous character in Family Ties was almost never played by Michael J. Fox.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the concert, and I'm delighted to be going with you.
Well, I'm delighted to be going with me, too. And you.
Goldberg's first choice was Matthew Broderick, who turned it down. He didn't want to move to Los Angeles. Fox auditioned, and Goldberg wasn't impressed. He played Alex too dark that day. No, Goldberg thought, not the guy. But casting director Judith Weiner wouldn't let it go, and Fox kept calling her, insisting the part was his. "I just knew that was my part," he said later. Goldberg gave him a second reading, and this time Fox blew him away. Then came the part nobody would believe if it weren't true. After the pilot, the president of NBC, Brandon Tartikoff, wanted Fox fired. He loved the show, but the kid had to go. His reason? I can't see that face on a lunchbox. Sit with that.
I say to you, I am a woman.
The head of the network looked at Michael J. Fox and saw a face too plain to sell a lunchbox. They kept him anyway. NBC overruled its own president. Years later, when Family Ties was the second highest rated show in America, Fox mailed Tartikoff a lunchbox with his own face on it and a note. "This is for you to put your crow in." Keeping Michael J. Fox turned out to be only the beginning of the problem. America didn't react the way anyone expected. The writers wrote Alex to be laughed at.
Excuse me. How'd that go?
That was the whole design. He'd say something greedy, something cold, something worshipful about Richard Nixon, and the studio audience was supposed to laugh at the ridiculous kid. The writers were liberals. They wrote his lines as self-indicting punchlines, little traps that exposed how hollow his values were. The audience walked right past the trap. They weren't laughing at Alex, they were laughing with him. They liked him. Then they started to admire him. Think about how strange that is. A room of writers builds a character as a warning, a satire of everything they disagreed with. And America looked at him and said, "That's my favorite one." The punchline they aimed at conservatism, the audience heard as a hero's theme.
Mal, don't worry about it. He won't retain this night in his memory.
The network's own surveys caught it fast. Viewers weren't drawn to the wise parents, or the physical comedy, or the pretty daughters. They were drawn to the fast-talking kid in the tie. Nobody had asked for this. The writers hadn't, and yet the room where Family Ties was really being decided suddenly wasn't the writers' room at all. It was somewhere else, somewhere they couldn't see and couldn't control.
Why is David lifting you?
Where? Hold the question. It's the one everything turns on. For now, just notice what it did. Suddenly, the parents weren't carrying the show anymore. Family Ties quietly changed heroes. Here's the strangest part. Nobody decided it. It just started happening.
Because I would hate for people to view me as insecure.
The audience wanted more Alex, so the scripts drifted toward Alex. Best lines, best scenes, then whole episodes. Each season, the camera leaned a little further from the parents. It happened so gradually that nobody at home noticed the show changing under them. But the people making it noticed.
Alex, I want to talk to you. I need your advice on something. It's really serious.
Your hair looks great. Can I go now?
Alex, I mean it.
And Goldberg did something that tells you exactly how far it had gone. He went to Michael Gross and Meredith Baxter, the actors playing the parents, the original leads, and told them he'd understand if they wanted to quit. Because the show they'd signed on to lead wasn't that show anymore. Picture that conversation.
Well, Dad, I was thinking, term papers and exams come and go, but the family unit is the one true constant in life.
Two actors promised the center of a network series, hearing the man who made that promise gently admit the ground had moved out from under them. They stayed, but the show they'd said yes to was already gone. The creator apologized to his own stars for the show becoming something else. That's not a writer steering a story. That's a writer being dragged by one.
This is Alex P. Keaton you're dealing with. I'm a member of the Interfraternity Council, and I go to a college where the students actually have brains.
By something with more power over the show than he had. He still couldn't have named it, but he was about to get a clue from the last place he'd have looked, the White House.
I get the phone call. NBC. We love the show. We're picking it up. We have one note. I go, what's that? Replace Michael Fox.
The president became a fan. Family Ties started as a gentle poke at the Reagan era. Two old lefties adrift in a decade of greed. So here's the irony that should knock you back. Ronald Reagan declared Family Ties his favorite show on television. Feel the size of that. A show created by an ex-hippie, written by a room of liberals, designed to laugh at 1980s conservatism, and the most powerful conservative in the world loved it. He loved it so much he offered to appear on it.
Maybe if we set Ted up in a glass booth, he wouldn't infect him.
Come on, Alex, I'd be good.
And here's the detail that says everything. The producers pointedly ignored the offer. The most famous fan in America wanted a cameo, and the writers who built the show to mock his era quietly never wrote back. But it was already too late, because Reagan wasn't wrong about what the show had become. He'd just seen it more clearly than the people making it. A satire only works if the audience takes the writer's side. This audience had taken Alex's. So the show that set out to mock the Reagan era had turned, without a single line being rewritten, into a Valentine for it. And Hollywood was about to make Alex bigger than a television show could contain.
He nailed it. He just played who he was. He played another side. He was Mike. And as soon as he left, I turned to Judith.
Michael J. Fox becomes Marty McFly.
I won't stand for this. This is a travesty. This is a sin against capitalism.
One thing could still have saved the original show: time. Fads fade, shows drift back, give it a season, and maybe the parents reclaim the center. Then Hollywood slammed that door forever. In 1985, Back to the Future came out, and the man in the DeLorean was Alex P. Keaton's actor. It almost didn't happen.
Plutonium, wait a minute. Are you telling me that this sucker is nuclear?
Hey, keep rolling there. No, this sucker's electrical.
Fox was contracted to Family Ties, so the studio first cast Eric Stoltz and shot without him. When that fell apart, Goldberg let Fox do both at once. Sitcom by day, movie by night, sleeping in pieces, driven between sets in the dark. Back to the Future became the biggest film of the year, and something happened no one could undo. America could no longer tell Michael J. Fox and Alex Keaton apart.
I came here in a time machine that you invented. Great Scott!
The kid on the show and the kid on the movie screen fused into one person, adored by tens of millions.
Dad!
Every time Marty McFly won over a theater, Alex Keaton got more untouchable. The little sitcom character was now a full-blown national star, and that gave the network an idea. If one supporting player could catch fire like this, maybe lightning could be caught twice. NBC couldn't replace Alex.
You look like $1 million.
Tax-free.
Here's a question the network never expected to fear. What happens to Family Ties if it loses Alex? By the mid-'80s, they had reason to worry. Fox was a movie star now, pulled a dozen directions. So NBC went looking for a safety net, a second breakout who could carry the show if the first one walked. And they thought they'd found him.
That's not good for business, Alex.
Nick Moore, Mallory's leather-jacketed artist boyfriend, was written for a single episode. The audience loved him, and a one-shot became a fixture.
And they'd stop making those funny little noises that kids make when the teacher comes into the room. They'd all sit up nice and straight, and they'd say,
Good morning, Mr. Moore.
So the network tried to build a show around him. Not once, 3 times. And this is where the story stops being about Nick and starts proving something about Alex. The first pilot was shot, then killed when its lead actor died. The second, NBC wouldn't even film. The third, The Art of Being Nick, aired in 1987 and finished number 2 in its slot. A hit, and still wasn't picked up. Look at the pattern. 3 swings, chance, weak writing, and one that won its night and died anyway. Popularity wasn't the missing ingredient. Nick was popular. It still didn't work. Then the man playing Nick sealed it. When NBC came back half-hearted for one more try, Scott Valentine said no. His reason? If I do this, I'm gonna be Nick for the rest of my life. Sit with that. Michael J. Fox spent his life glad to be tied to Alex, because being Alex meant being loved.
It's not ox blood, Mallory, it's Oxford. It's one of the most prestigious institutes of higher learning in the entire world.
Says you.
Valentine looked at being tied to Nick forever and ran. You can manufacture a popular character. NBC did, 3 times. What you cannot manufacture is the moment an audience stops watching a character and starts needing him. They didn't need Nick. They needed Alex P. Keaton. Only. NBC couldn't build another Alex, but the writers had a bigger problem. They couldn't stop writing around the first one. The writers started writing around Alex. Every hijack show has a moment of surrender, the point where the people making it stop fighting the takeover and start serving it.
I'd hate to be taken out of context.
For Family Ties, you can name the episode, but first, test your own memory. Picture the Family Ties episode that stuck with you most, the one that felt like more than a sitcom. For most people, it's the same one, and that's the tell. By season 5, the writers had stopped resisting. More Alex storylines, more Alex monologues, the sisters drifting to the background, the parents reduced to reacting to their son across the breakfast table. Then came the surrender itself. My name is Alex.
That day at the Berlin Wall, when he said, today I am a Berliner. Well, today in this cell, I say to you, I am a woman.
Alex's friend is killed in a car crash he was supposed to be riding along for, and the show simply stops being a comedy. A bare stage, no laugh track. Alex alone for a full hour, working through grief and guilt like a one-man play. It won a stack of awards and is still called the show's finest hour. That's almost certainly the episode you just pictured. And they gave it to Alex. Not the parents. You don't hand your deepest hour to a supporting character. You hand it to your lead.
Your mother's here.
By 1987, everyone making the show knew who that was, whatever the title said. But Alex wasn't just taking over Family Ties anymore. He was escaping it. When Alex stopped belonging to the show, here's how you know a character has escaped a show. People who never watched it start claiming him anyway. Alex became a symbol, a clean-cut, briefcase-carrying young conservative, the first one television ever made lovable. Real people began pointing to him as the reason for their lives. Years later, a young Republican running for Congress was asked why he joined the party. His answer? It started with Michael J. Fox on Family Ties. He wasn't alone. A whole generation of young conservatives grew up naming a sitcom character as a role model, a character his own writers had built to argue the opposite case. And that forces a question that should be impossible. If the writers built Alex to mock, and the audience rebuilt him into a hero they carried into real life, then whose character is he? Who does Alex P. Keaton belong to? Goldberg circled it himself near the end. When else, he asked, could a boy with a briefcase become a national hero? Listen to that. It's the creator staring at a hero he never meant to make, sounding a little stunned it happened and not quite able to say who made it. He was closer to the answer than he knew, and what happened next made going back impossible. The show couldn't go back. By the later seasons, the math was simple. Alex was the reason people watched. And once that's true, you're trapped. Every instinct to return to the original show cost you the audience you actually have.
Valerie, didn't they show you that film in hygiene class? You know, the one with the baby chickies?
Alex, times have changed. They show us one with the babies.
You can't ask America to fall back out of love. So the parents drifted to the edges, the daughters became guests in their own family, and the show leaned on Alex, because Alex was the only thing that still worked. Here's the quiet tragedy. The show never failed. It finished the 1983 and 1984 seasons as the second highest rated series on television, stayed top 20 for 6 of 7 years, and won Fox 3 straight Emmys. It got everything television is supposed to want. It just stopped being the thing it was born as. Success didn't rescue the original show. It buried it. Because every reward came as the Alex Show, and every reward made going back more impossible. Even the ending couldn't bring it back. The original show was gone for good. Which lets us finally ask the question we've circled the whole time. If this wasn't the show it was meant to be, what was? Who was supposed to be its hero? The hero it was supposed to be. Before we ask what you remember, look at what was actually built. Because the real heart of Family Ties was never the kid in the tie. It was the marriage. Steven and Elyse Keaton were the rarest thing on television. Two people who genuinely liked each other, who'd believed in something bigger than themselves and were trying to pass it on. In the show's very first scene, they gather the family for a slideshow of their own March on Washington. That's the DNA of it. Two people who tried to change the world, now raising children in a world that changed on them instead. Their struggle was tender and quietly heroic. How do you raise good kids in a country that no longer shares your values, without turning bitter, without giving up what you believe? How do you love a son becoming everything you once marched against? That was the hero Family Ties was built to have. Not a person, but a marriage. Not Alex, but the thing his parents were trying to protect. It's the story the title actually points to, the ties that hold a family together across a generational divide. Now hold that picture, the show it was supposed to be, because here's the unsettling part. That's not the show you remember, and it's worth asking why. The Family Ties you love never existed. Try to picture Family Ties right now. Be honest about what comes up. You're not picturing that marriage. You're picturing Alex. Grown, confident, in a suit. The star, the center, the whole show.
That's the best that's ever sounded.
But that version only exists in the last few seasons, after the takeover was complete. The show you're remembering is seasons 5, 6, 7, not season 1, not the two idealists and their slideshow. That opening, the parents young and in love, the March on Washington, the family drama the whole thing was built to be, barely lives in anyone's memory at all. Here's what that means, and it lands a little cold. Your memory didn't record the show that was made. It recorded the show it became and quietly erased the rest.
Are you gonna be my new daddy?
We all remember the ending as if it were the beginning. A whole country rewrote the same show in its head, the same way, and never noticed doing it. Which means almost nobody alive actually remembers Family Ties. We remember what someone else turned it into. And that's the thread this whole investigation has been pulling. Not how did the show change, but who changed it? Who reached into a show about a marriage and walked out with a monument to their son? You already know. You've known for a while. You've just been waiting for someone to say it.
As well, is he the kind of face that's going to be on a lunchbox, Brandon? I go,
Nobody realized what really happened. So who really created Alex P. Keaton? Not Goldberg. He built the kid to lose the argument. Not Fox, who only auditioned for a supporting part. Not NBC, who wanted him gone before the paint was dry. Every one of them tried to keep Family Ties about the parents. Everyone was overruled by the same force. The writers wrote Alex to be laughed at. That force chose to love him. The network tried to fire the actor. That force made him a star. The creator tried to hold the line. That force pulled the show toward the sun, 1 week at a time. Reagan didn't lead that crowd, he joined it. You've known the answer since the 4th chapter. You've just been waiting to be sure. Family Ties didn't create Alex P. Keaton. You did. Not a boardroom. Not a writer's room. Millions of living rooms, one laugh at a time, by people who thought they were only watching their favorite show. A series is supposed to be authored by the people who make it. This one was rewritten by the people who watched it. Now go back to where it started. The first episode. 2 ex-hippies sit their kids down and click through slides of the night they marched on Washington. The whole show, in one image, saying exactly what it meant to be. That's the show Gary David Goldberg made. It isn't the one you remember. For 40 years, you've carried a version of Family Ties its writers never wrote and its creator quietly grieved. A version you built yourself without ever knowing you were the author. Alex P. Keaton wasn't a character America was given. He was a character America chose. And in choosing him, reaching past the quiet marriage for the kid in the tie, a whole country said something true about its decade and never once heard itself speak. You didn't just watch Family Ties. You wrote the ending.